there was a part of me, right? There was a part of me last week and during this whole debacle that really itching at the back of my brain, thinking that, well, the weirdness and the way that the co-leaders avoided the press is reactionary, and the secrecy of the apology that they gave to just the Greens and the Labour, saying that this is not us, don't worry, you can work with us. And I never mentioned it in the last video, but it etched in my brain thinking, do they approve of this? But do they recognise that this is terrible politics? But do they actually disagree with it, so they're just going to let it go? And then then this article comes out. This article here from RNZ. Tamihere defending those comments, or saying it was the wording wasn't right. He is trying to run on the general role in Kelston. I am well past Labour and the Greens demanding that Tākuta Ferris steps down in the Māori Party membership. You know, of course, you can't kick him out the electorate because that's undemocratic. What do we do from here on the left, right? What do we do from here? Because I'm so angry, and the reason why I'm so angry at this, just as well as I was angry with Darlene Tana, there is a double in New Zealand. I know I'm sure across the world, but specifically in New Zealand, there is a double standard when it comes to the left and the right political blocs in this country. For the right-leaning parties, there is a lot more leeway and a lot more benefit. There's a lot more benefit of the doubt given to parties like National than there is to Labour. Of course, Labour's not perfect. They've done some massive cock-ups. I'm not saying either or, but there is a noticeable divide there. And stuff like this is not... If this was for National, if something like this happened under when David Seymour, because they say shit like this all the time. I'm not saying otherwise. I mean, you've got... there was an article that came out that I didn't cover, which does annoy me, last week on Saturday, I believe, that they called a Green councillor in the Wellington Council, I believe Ray Chung is involved with this group, a retard, and compared her to, or them rather, I'm not sure. I only skimmed the editorial. A retard, and compared them to Charlie Kirk's assassin, and like there's always this fairway given. This rhetorical benefit of the doubt given to the right. So, but when something like this happens, the capital that it covers, all of the media landscape under, not like the platform and such others, always can get onto this, and this can be stretched out for months. In effect, not the National Party, the Labour Party, and it can be used as a rhetorical battering ram. So stuff like this pisses me off, because we are better than this. We are way better than this. And when the leader of the whole party comes out and says, no, I defend him, when the co-leaders themselves said that's not us, what is that party doing? How can the Greens work with this? This is not, I am not someone, and I say, like, I don't fully agree with Te Pāti Māori, I don't fully agree, but what they've done with engaging Māoridom against this racist government has been phenomenal. The treaty principle bill is a complete hack, right? I am well aware of that. This is not it. What do you say? Like, I was willing to wait for a week. I was willing to forget this, honestly. Like, this happened. I've said my piece on it. I've done a piece on it. I'm on my show. That's it. Like, I don't need to. This article comes out of the president defending. I'm going on a walk during the afternoon, going for a little walk. Yes, I know I'm old. Piss off. I turn on my data. RNZ. Tamihere defends Tākuta Ferris's comments, but says they're a bit overboard. But, you know, look, right now, there was a poll that's been released, right? By RNZ and Read Research. There's a new partnership because of News Hub going under. And there's a new... The poll revealed that it's hung parliament. Look, I don't look into individual polls, but there is a trend slowly developing. Hung parliament now, a one seat, I believe, I can't recall, but there's a one seat majority. I think it's to the right. There's a one seat majority of the Taxpayers Union Curia poll before that. If there's a third poll coming out showing a one seat majority either way or another hung parliament, there is going to be a trend here that is way, way more earlier than I bloody expected. That Labour and the Greens will have to work with this party, maybe even coalition, because it might require it and they might demand it. I am not going to say this because New Zealand First is a pack of old men, second-rate politicians who are grasping on this anti-vax rhetoric BS and this identity politic nonsense. But there is a conversation here that unless the Labour Party right now needs to improve their rhetoric against them being the look, I don't want to go on a rant, but people seem to forget that Labour actually works towards proper, competent governance between Māoridom and the partnership between the Crown and Māoridom. There was actual work towards that. I don't think maybe not people don't seem to forget that, but I don't think people seem to say it enough. And I don't think Labour says it enough. And I think there needs to be. Look, I totally get this, the idea of, and I totally get the strategy of having a deal with Te Pāti Māori's Māori seats and giving them, so the left has an overhang, a hypothetical vacuum. I don't think it would really work. I agree with McAnulty's shot on this, that the Kiwis would just not, they just wouldn't take it. And ACT and National and New Zealand First will just jump on it like hyenas, like absolute hyenas. So that just wouldn't work. But I do get the strategy, and I do get the strategy. I will, if this current rhetoric, and I get, look, I am not someone that was born yesterday. I totally get there has been the colonial noose nonsense of the last term, I believe. The Pāti Māori, since their re-election into Parliament in 2020, they've had a history of this. But this going in towards an election year is bad. And steps need to be taken, that there needs to be look, all I'm saying is that New Zealand First and ACT borderline almost despise each other. And I would say maybe National and New Zealand First aren't, but they're in a coalition. And what I mean by that is that I think the Labour Party specifically, because I don't think the Greens will do this, even though I have voted for them, but I have minor disagreements. I love their tax plan, and I love the trains. Side note, I'm concentrating on Labour because they've got more of a more capital around this. There needs to be a game towards competent governance when it comes to, in conjunction with TPM. It just needs to be. I think this could become what I fear, a kick in the shins for our campaign towards winning back this country. And Te Pāti Māori might be the ones to drag us down. They were a result of the reactionary nonsense of David Seymour and the ACT Party and the cucking the massive cuck that is Chris Luxon and the National Party. Not to mention New Zealand First's wackadoodle old man shouts at clouds. That's what Te Party Māori. That's the result. And I'm not saying either or, but that is why they're here. Something needs to be done if we want to win this election, because right now we are at the front. And in that poll that I mentioned, the Reed Research poll, it is within the margin of error, but TPM did drop, and I don't believe they dropped to 1.7%, I believe. And I don't believe that poll was taken last week. I can't imagine what the support is for that party now, and I sincerely hope for our sakes that party does not get the popular vote of 4.5%, because that is a waste. We need to win next year. This is political suicide, and they need to fucking grow up.